You go on Pinterest, you start collecting inspiration pics, but then what? I wanted to change my room around. I kind of had an idea for this like Italian grandma, writer recluse, call me by your name type of vibe. So I went on Pinterest looking for the inspo, and here's how I turned my room from this into this based off my Pinterest board. Once I had all of my Pinterest inspo saved, here you can see a running tab of the boards that I was creating. I knew that I wanted to mix in contemporary, aka current pieces with more antique pieces. My old vibe was a lot more postmodern and a little bit of mid-century mixed in, but we were looking for more antique than the postmodern type of vintage. So we're talking about different decades. All of the rooms on Pinterest I was saving, I wanted to make a running tab of like what did they have in common, and I can tell you so many of them had red rugs. So I added in this red rug. I knew that was like the first thing I wanted to do, and once the rug was in this room, I was so quickly able to see how that was going to amp up the vibe I was going for. So red was the color. Once the rug was in, I knew that I wanted to figure out the bed situation. I wanted a new bed. I wasn't looking for anything vintage because I thought the bed would be the place where I can add in something contemporary. Lulu in Georgia had the most amazing bed that had both the vintage vibes and contemporary vibes. The wood on the bottom of the bed mixed with the boucle just gave me both the old and new that I was looking for. Obsessed. Now that we have this gorgeous bed in, how do I want to dress it? I wanted to figure out something like really chic, minimal, and cool. So I also got the pillow from Lulu in Georgia. And then I added in the tapestry blanket. If you're an OG, you know this was in my shop. This is my Renaissance women artwork that I had on the tapestry, which is going to be available in my shop soon. So make sure you're signed up for my newsletter because that's where I'll be announcing all the incoming new products that I'm going to be launching and other fun events and things that we're working on. We have some really cute holiday events coming up, by the way. So I wanted to add this in. Of course, the Renaissance women are going to go perfectly with the vibe of this room. And then I got new bedding. Okay, I'm a bedding girl. I live for bedding. We've talked about this. I have had, a few brands that I really liked, but this I'm gonna call in my top, right now my top 3, at least, top 2 maybe even. This bedding is from Banana Republic Home. Banana Republic launched Home, I would say a few months ago. Went to their party here in LA, such a vibe. And I got this bedding. It's in white, but it's a cotton percale that is so soft. If you're a sensory person like me, and you know that if you can feel 1 degree of texture on your sheets, you're kind of like tripping out a little bit. That's me. This bedding is so soft, and I've washed it twice now, and I'm a huge fan. Like, I'm going to get more colors. I'm wondering, and you can let me know in the comments, I'm wondering if like a creamy, sandy color might look cute. I don't know if it's going to be too close to the bed, but we're out there trying new things. We have the vanity, we have the rug, now we have this gorgeous bed. Then it was just about filling it all in. I was Facebook Marketplace obsessed. I was hunting day and night. I was also looking on OfferUp. I knew that I wanted more red. I knew that I wanted a lot more dark woods. The first thing that I found, I was looking for an antique desk, but it actually became this little secretary here. It was listed as a desk, but it's a dresser with a little secretary. Found it on OfferUp. I was completely obsessed. It was $100. I immediately got it. The second thing I found was this little Bombay like jewelry holder, I guess you would call it. I loved it so much, and I knew that I was gonna do like mismatch nightstands, and I knew that I wanted to play with like height for scale. The ceilings in this room aren't very high, so you really kind of gotta make your eye dance around so that everything doesn't feel really flat in here. 55 bucks, Facebook Marketplace fine. Totally adds the vibe, and it has a purpose because now I have a proper place to put jewelry instead of just throwing in bowls all over my house. Everything on top I pretty much had. I had this lamp, there's a pair. I had this beautiful marble checkerboard. These books I already had. This bowl I did get from a flea market. I went on a flea market kind of hunt also right when I was looking to update my space, and I found like pretty much all my accessories in that 1 or 2 flea market trips. Obsessed. And then above the bed, I had the art, and I wanted one of these like metal candelabras. I'd seen these all over my inspiration. It's very like French and Italian. They kind of merge in terms of like decor, but I saw one, fun little story time. I saw a pair, was obsessed. The woman was being like very challenging to sell them to me. She had a lot of parameters. I have to meet her over here, whatever. They're hers, no problem. But I really wanted to just send someone to pick them up because they were kind of far. So I was debating like, should I just figure this out? Should I go? This popped up and it worked out even better because I'm obsessed. And I got this locally from someone who sells to me at flea markets, but she was on Facebook Marketplace. So I was happy to support her business. And honestly, I love the gold even more. One of the other things that I was trying to decipher from my Pinterest boards was kind of like, what kind of chairs was I attracted to? I know I wanted my bedroom to feel, of course, like a bedroom, but I wanted seating because one, I don't like people to sit on my bed. But also, I just feel like it just warmed up the space a lot. I knew I wanted something classic, and I was thinking about wingback chairs, and I was thinking about those like Louis the 14, 13, whatever, whoever that guy is. Those chairs. Ended up finding these, which, hello, the color, perfection. Was so obsessed with the red, and then when I got them in, they were two for $100, so I wasn't sure what the quality would be. I was guessing based off the photos, and the quality is better than I would have thought. They seem like they were custom upholstered. The velvet is so beautiful, and I'm so glad that I made that choice. Speaking of seating, this baby, she was so hard to get. Sometimes you really have to be out there in these streets with Facebook sellers because you're really just kind of on their whim, as is their right of how they want to sell. But this guy was like, no Venmo, no Zelle, cash only, and I needed to get it that day. Of course, I was filming like a huge reveal project, which you'll see soon. It's going to be on HGTV. I'm so excited for their YouTube, but I wanted it that day. So I was trying to coordinate. I of course used Lug because they are the MVP of like moving furniture all of a sudden when you need to. I was able to get it. It was such a good price. He sold it to me for, I want to say like $110, and it is so beautiful, so antique, and all of this sort of burnt velvet with this floral situation. Love it. I keep kissing my fingers, but that's just how I feel about this room. Another early Facebook find. This mirror is one of two. It was in a like shoe repair store. The woman was selling them, and I was seeing these ornate mirrors and I was so obsessed with it, but I didn't want it to be too kind of obvious where there's just like gold and grapevines and things. This carved wood that is in this like sort of like washed gold situation, could not get enough of. At first I thought I was going to flank them on either side of my bed, but once I did an asymmetrical nightstand situation, I knew that I wanted to do asymmetrical art as well. So we have a mirror, we have art to balance, we have the candles, but this mirror, like such a find. We know the vanity was the start of this, but one fun update I did was kind of what I have laid on it, and then I added these lights. These light fixtures are on another level. They're from Blueprint Lighting. I actually have a few other pieces from Blueprint scattered throughout my house here. I cannot get enough of these. They're new, they're contemporary, but this little pleated bulb just completely went with the old vintage Italian grandma vibes, which I love. The other fun thing about Blueprint is that you can customize your hardware. So of course I went for like an antique washed brass. I feel like if they were black, it would have added a completely different energy. All in all, I'm obsessed with this room, and I think the reason I love it so much is because I was able to translate the Pinterest board by not copycatting exactly what I saw, but putting my own twist on it. So if you're looking at Pinterest and you're looking for inspiration, number one, you want to figure out why you're picking these photos. So see what they have in common. For me, one of the biggest things that all my photos had in common were that I was looking at neutral rooms with big pops of color, the color being red. So if you're into neutrals, try more than an accent pillow or more than a throw blanket in the color. For me, it's a giant rug and two large chairs in red that still feel really balanced with all the neutral happening. Second thing that I think a lot of my Pinterest saves had in common were a lot of really curated smalls. So there was a lot of stuff on the walls or things laying on surfaces, but it all felt really collected. There weren't a lot of matching sets. There was a lot of mismatch like textures, textiles, etc. So there's a lot of shiny things, there's a lot of matte things, there's some metal, there's some clay. There's a lot happening in all of the items that I selected, and those items speak to my personality, and that's where you get like the you of it instead of feeling like you just cut and pasted a room. The third thing would be to shop your own closet, so to speak, first. what I wanted to do was get this inspiration, figure out what I needed new, but also reuse and utilize things that are in my house. So I'm repurposing art, I'm repurposing smalls, and I left like my light fixture, which is kind of a space age Italian. So it's a different kind of century, but it adds in the fun and like the eclectic vibe of this room. That's how I turned my Pinterest board into my new bedroom. I hope that these tips were helpful. I hope you like my new room. I love it. I'm sleeping like an angel. Again, make sure you sign up for my newsletter because I will be making announcements of things like the blankets and some really fun events in New York and LA. Also, if you like it here, feel free to give us a like and a subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Love you, mean it. Bye.